Hey, you guys, this is Dee Edwards, and I am the senior tax professional of Accurate Tax Services and also a tax consultant to help tax preparers to build six-figure tax firms. So, on today's broadcast, I really want to talk to tax professionals and also to taxpreneurs to reinforce how important it is to complete due diligence on every single file. I believe that it is very important for you to treat every file, to treat every client as if that file is going to be audited by the IRS. And this is the way that you train your team on how to build an audit proof tax office, right? So first of all, it's very important that you understand that you treat every single file, every single client that comes into your office, you treat that file as if it is going to be audited by the IRS. And so a huge part of what we do, it is important for you to understand, is wrapped around due diligence. Due diligence means that you're doing your part as a paid professional tax expert, that you are asking the right questions, that you're gathering the right documentation, and also that you are typing in the correct information as well. So there are three things that I really want to enforce on this broadcast. So thank you guys so much for sharing this out, tagging a tax professional, and making sure that they watch this video from begin all the way to end. Okay, so the first thing is, when it comes to due diligence, documentation, it is very important. If you do not document, then it did not happen. So it is important that when you're documenting, you have to document the questions and also the client's response to it. One of the things that we do in our tax office is that I have like a notepad. I have a notepad where the tax professional can just copy and paste certain questions depending on the tax file, and then that way they only have to type in the answer. Okay. And also with our software that we have, we put questions in the system for the customer, for the tax preparer to ask on every single file. So we make this mandatory, so the file cannot be completed unless they ask these questions. So if you don't have tax software that can do that, you definitely need to seek out Tax Genie professional software. Hit me up so I can tell you more about that. All right. So again, when it comes to documentation, if you don't document, then it does not happen. I don't care what type of file that you're dealing with, whether it's a single parent, a divorcee, a small business owner, a household employee, every single file needs to have some form of documentation on it. Documentation, it is a must. Okay. Number two, asking the right questions. You need to make sure, especially when it comes to household and small business owners, you need to make sure that you ask the right questions. Also, for those files that deal with dependents, right? You got to make sure that you ask the right question, because just because Aubrey is my baby does not give the client the legal right to claim her, or I can't claim her just because she's my baby. Okay. So when it comes to earned income questions, you have to understand that it takes more than just having a relationship in order for the client to qualify for earned income tax credit. And so whatever question that you ask the tax client, be sure to include that in your documentation. I don't care what question that you ask, right? There are certain questions that you need to ask, right? So if, for instance, if I was claiming Aubrey, some of the questions that I may have to ask is, okay, so where's Aubrey's father? How long did Aubrey live in a household with you during the tax year? Did anybody else live in a household with you? Who else contributed to the financial support of Aubrey? Okay, these are 4 questions that you definitely need to put in your file. Also, you may want to ask, if this file is audited, what type of proof can you show that this dependent lived in a household with you for the entire tax year or 6 months or more? And so the answer may be medical records, or it may be school records, right? So you need to just be sure that you are showing the IRS that you are doing your part with asking the right questions, and you are documenting these questions. Number 3, you want to make sure that you have the right tax forms for whatever circumstance or situation that your client may have. So for instance, for individuals that come to us and they saying that they're claiming they're dependent, especially if it is a new tax client that we're having, they're going to have to bring me proof that this is their dependent. So I need birth certificates. Okay. If it's I need birth certificate, and I need them to complete a form. I need them to put on the form the dependents full name, date of birth. I need them to write how many months that this dependent lived in the household with them. What is their relationship to this dependent? And then also they're going to sign and they're going to date it. Why? Because a lot of tax professionals are getting in trouble when it comes to dependents. And so we want to make sure that you are audit proofing your office, because it ain't nothing like your client enjoying the refund that you got them, but the IRS coming after you 6 months to a year later because you failed to do due diligence. And you guys already know that once the IRS start looking into your files, they're going to go deep. Okay. And they're going to go back for years. I know tax offices who have been fined over $100,000 for a lack of these three things when it comes to due diligence: for a lack of documentation, for a lack of asking and documenting the right documenting the response, and also having tax forms in their actual files. Okay. So I want you guys to take these 3 tips and I need you to implement them in your tax office, because we're all about building 6-figure firms, but we want to build 6-figure tax firms that are in compliance. All right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for sharing out this broadcast. I'm telling you, if you're going to be successful in the tax industry, and if you're going to have longevity, not only do we want to have clients that enjoy nice refunds, but we also want to be able to stand behind our work. Okay. And so you got to be willing to stand behind your work. What is so frustrating a lot of times is that we have tax professionals that will file the actual tax returns, but after the tax season is over, then the client can't get back in contact with you. Or if they have questions regarding their files, they can't reach you. That's frustrating. And that's not providing your customers excellent services. So if there's anyone who's watching this live and you're experiencing that, then it may be time for you to look for a new tax firm. All right. So I love you guys so much. I want you guys to go forth. Yes. Somebody said yes, they get their money, and you're left dealing with the issues. Yeah. And so that's why. Let me just give you this last and final tip. Before you even get the customer or the client into your office, have them to bring you everything that is needed, so the customer won't have to continue to come back and forth. Just tell them everything that is needed, because a lot of times people just want to get the tax client in the office, but don't get them in the office, and you're frustrating them during your process because you don't have a process. So communicate effectively. What is it going to take? What does the client need to bring to the office in order for you to file the tax return and get it done and over with that same day? Okay. All right. So I'll be back to give you guys more tips on how to build a compliant tax office, how to build your 6-figure tax firm where your clients are pleased, and then you're pleased with the work and services that you guys provide as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for tagging and sharing this broadcast out. Have an amazing day. And you can learn more about us at www.irstaxacademy.com. So that's www.irstaxacademy.com. Have an amazing day. Toodles. Bye, you guys.